Hello, welcome to site visit training for dualenroll.com. So I've already logged in Dual Enroll here, so hopefully you can get logged in all right. Click on ongoing requirements, and much like this, you will see I am under a fictitious, your name should appear here in your account. And then once you see that, you will see a list of your requirements. Today we are going to talk about specifically the site visit. So when you have one that's available to you that you need to do a site visit on, it will look like this program chair schedule site visit. Okay, so before you do this site visit, you will want to communicate with the high school teacher in some way, phone or through email strings. But once you have a confirmed date and time that you would like to do the site visit, you can come in here to dualenroll.com and it'll say program chair schedule site visit. You click on that and it'll pop up this new screen that deals with scheduling the site visit. If you have not talked with the instructor, or if you're someone who has some other reviewers assigned underneath of you to you might have this delegate this review to button, and you could then actually select the person who would be doing the site visit if it wasn't you. I believe this option will only pop up if you have content experts that have been assigned under you as a program chair. If you don't have any content experts, if you do everything yourself, that delegate to this review to will not be there. So other than that, we want to schedule the site visit, and so you schedule it. You click on the button to select that. Select when you want to schedule it. So maybe let's say it's just going to be February 4th. This is a 24-hour clock setting. So if we want 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we set it to 1300. We're going to end on February 4th as well. And let's say we're going to end it at 2 o'clock. So we'll be there for an hour. And location, just put where it is. If the teacher has told you their room number, you could put their room number. I think this fictitious teacher was at North White High School. So if I just put North White High School. Okay. And you can actually request additional documentation as well if you would like. But this is how you would schedule it. And of course, if you request the additional information, it says comments required below. This is that area where you can put other comments as to what, but then the teacher would have to open up and see those comments. And so I unless there's something you want to historically add here, so that way we can look at it backward at any time. So you hit complete step down here. You complete the step. It will actually then, I selected this fictitious Agra 103 class. It will now, you can see that it used to say schedule site visit like the one below it here, but now it says complete site visit. So the day comes. Personally, I would probably take notes on a separate sheet of paper and do this afterwards. I know some people like to take their laptop and try to connect to do it. It's really up to you how you wish you want to do this. But either way, you can come here, click complete site visit. It'll ask you to understand that you have to save your work. Okay. Date of visit. Let's just say we met on February 4th, like we stated. Here's your teacher, your high school, the dual credit class. I believe this is AGRI 103. You can actually put, I think it was called animal science, if I remember correctly. But all this stuff, obviously, you will know. Approved textbook. So the textbook here does not have to be an Ivy Tech approved textbook, but this textbook should have been approved during your syllabi review of this course. So hopefully you can then refer to the syllabus if you need to understand what textbook is here. Okay, and for this purpose, I'm just going to put approved textbook in here. Okay. Because if you don't have something selected, or if you don't have something in a box, it will alert you and say, hey, we need to do this. List the equipment used for the course. So this can be anything of technology related. Maybe they just use the projector. I would even say, if there's like a website that they use that they got involvement from the students in, I would list that here for obviously lab class purposes. You would put, lab equipment. If you saw them use something specific, you might put that. Just out of my world of science, standard lab equipment, we'll just input that for this right here. Okay. You can use this form for a conference, but remember, most of the time people are going to hit classroom observation. Okay. Next step, syllabus objectives courses. I would put yes. Syllabus was approved during syllabi review step, and you can mention comparable, or maybe not. I wouldn't use the word comparable. How about equivalent to on-campus course? Of course, you can make something a little bit more better than that. This is just for illustrative purposes. So the next step, describe the class lesson observed, techniques, student. So this is where hopefully you would get an idea of what the lesson was, and you could sit here and you could put a description of the lesson here. And also, describe any interaction with students. I know some people will have more interactions than others, and so that's fine. Methods of assessment, testing. This is where we collect samples of stuff, tests, like it says there, tests, essays, rubrics, everything else. And so you can comment on, collected exam 3, compared questions to objectives in class, objectives listed in the syllabus. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can write there to talk about how those items are compared to the on-campus classes. Students are held to the same grading standards, so you'd want to hopefully click yes. Obviously, you can always hit no as well if something's not right with the teacher, which would then serve as your site visit, and then would help you later on having to have follow-up. Sound same grading standards. In my case, we have a common final exam that is weighted at 20% of final Ivy Tech grade, or whatever happens. Okay, I have to put something in here to show you kind of how this works. Dual credit teacher creates meaningful learning experiences, so hopefully you answer yes or no. Describe what you saw in your site visit. Okay. Provide any suggestions. If there's any way that you would improve this class. I do believe you do have to put something here. Okay. Any student feedback. No student feedback. Like I said, I'm doing this just for no questions or requests. Teacher had no questions at this time. Okay, you fill all that in. Come down here. It asks you what did you obtain from the teacher. So you can say, well, you gathered some sample tests, you did some sample assignments and materials, and you have some sample student work. Okay, I do not believe it's required that you have to put anything that you left with the teacher. If you did leave it, great. The last thing will be this file here. And so this is where the way I see it happening is either the teacher emails you sample student work or the teacher emails you sample assignments, things like this. If she emails them to you, then you have the digital file already. If not, if you collect them when you're at the site visit, you can actually then scan them into one of our printers and save them digitally. And I would say then you sample assignments and materials, you choose your file. Here I had scan of student work. So here you just hit the choose file, you find your file and you upload it. And I believe it popped up this thing that says I understand again, all the way down. Go back down, you see that it has loaded that. You can actually load more than one thing. So if you got sample tests, sample assignments, sample work, whatever, you can add multiple files underneath here. And the good thing about this is that you will then have a history of what you collected and how it's saved, right? After that, the last thing here is if you need to reschedule, you can actually say you can need to reschedule. I believe it takes you back to the onboard, the scheduling thing then. If you still need additional stuff, you can request that, and then you can actually make your comments down here, need additional examples or something like that. Or if you're done, you can have, I've completed this site visit. The last thing here is notify the K-14 director. So if you find something of concern while you're there and you don't necessarily, I guess, feel like you need to address it right then or can address it at the moment, you can actually check that box, and that box will actually send a message to your campus K-14 leader in order to have follow-up. Okay, so you've completed it. You come down here, hit complete step. And what that's going to do is that's going to send that, and it's actually going to be at the very bottom of your page. And actually, it's not even on mine because there's a lot of stuff here to look at, and it may still not be. Anyway, it'll go to the very end of your list, and there's been a lot of people that have put some fictitious stuff in here, so I can't even get to the end of the list. So sorry about the scrolling. But what it'll do is it'll actually send an alert to the high school teacher in order for them to confirm it. And they will just have to click a button that says confirm site visit, and they will complete that step. And that will end the site visit process. So with that, hopefully this was helpful and will help you have successful use of dual enroll for your site visits.